I'm counting on you guys to really talk about what you want to talk about today. We'll get started in about 5 minutes, but be thinking about what you could share that you think might benefit other people. It's not just about me and my experiences and stuff that I bring to the table. I want to open up this room for open discussion so that we can support each other on our spiritual paths. Like, I don't even know if you have any clue, Michael, but that made my day. Like, that was the highlight of my day yesterday. So how can we be more supportive to each other? Ashley, you do the same thing. Ellie, you do that for me. Carla, like all of you guys that know me well and reach out to me. I can't even tell you how amazing it is to know that we have each other's back and that we're just there for each other so that it doesn't feel so lonely, because oftentimes when you're on a spiritual path, it can feel lonely. I want you guys to be thinking about what's going on in your life currently. What are some themes, some patterns, some things that you're noticing, not just in your life, but in the lives of people around you that you talk to that you feel we're all kind of sharing some similar patterns? Are there ways that we can support each other better than we are? You be thinking about what you're noticing in your life. And if you feel that there is a story or a principle or a concept that maybe you could add to the discussion today, don't hold back. Please don't keep it to yourself. Don't hold back. I think that this is a place where we need to start being more proactive at what we can do to serve one another. We are going to start just like we usually do. Katie, do you want to read Psalm 91?
I would love to. Oh, thank you, Father. Thank you. Thank you for the unity in this group. Thank you for us being able to tune in. I'm just going to clear with Psalms 91. Thank you. When you abide under the shadow of Shaddai, you're hidden in the strength of God Most High. He's the hope that holds me in the stronghold to shelter me, the only God for me and my great confidence. He will rescue you from every hidden trap of the enemy, and he will protect you from false accusation and any deadly curse. His massive arms are wrapped around you, protecting you, and you can run under his covering of majesty and hide. His arms of faithfulness are a shield, keeping you from harm, and you will never worry about an attack of demonic forces at night, nor have to fear a spirit of darkness coming against you. Don't fear a thing. Whether by night or by day, demonic danger will not trouble you, nor will the powers of evil be launched against you. Even in time of disaster, with thousands and thousands being killed, you will remain unscathed and unharmed. You will be a spectator as the wicked perish in judgment, for they will be paid back for what they've done. When we live our lives within the shadow of God Most High, our secret hiding place, we will always be shielded from harm. How then could evil prevail against us or affect us? God sends angels with special orders to protect you wherever you go, defending you from all harm. If you walk into a trap, they'll be there for you and keep you from stumbling. You'll even walk unharmed among the fiercest powers of darkness, trampling every one of them beneath your feet. For here's what the Lord has spoken to me. Thank you, Lord. Because you love me, delighted in me, and have been loyal to my name, I will greatly protect you. I will answer your cry for help every time you pray, and you will feel my presence in your time of trouble. I will deliver you and bring you honor. I will satisfy you with a full life and for all that I do for you will enjoy the fullness of my salvation. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you for that. I do feel like that does so much to clear the air and get us prepared. So thank you for sharing that, Katie. Michael, we're going to get us kicked off. I really, as we do this 5-minute meditation that Michael's going to share through a screen share, would love for you to just set the intention that this open mic discussion today will be what you need it to be, and that you'll be able to bring to the table possibly what others might need to hear. How can we support one another on our spiritual path and our spiritual journey? That's the intention. So let's go into that intention with the meditation. And whenever you're ready, Michael, you can go ahead and screen share.
Okay. So on this meditation, towards the end, she's going to say some positive affirmations. I challenge you to say those out loud. So you'll repeat after her and say them out loud.
Good morning, my love. Welcome to a guided meditation by Lavender. I'm happy you made the choice to meditate and start your day with positive intention. Let's get into a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes and rest your hands on your knees with your palms facing up. Take 3 deep breaths with an open mouth exhale. Now, take a moment for gratitude. Focus on what you have to be grateful for today. Take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. Breathe in and imagine positive energy coming into your body through the top of your head. As you breathe out, imagine that positive energy flowing through your body all the way down your limbs and pushing old, stagnant energy out through the tips of your toes. So breathe in positive, loving energy. And breathe out. Let all that positive energy flow through you, washing away any negative thoughts, energy, and emotions that aren't serving you. Continue this visualization for a few more deep breaths. With this, you're giving yourself an energetic cleanse to begin your day with high vibrational energy. Being intentional with your energy and learning to cultivate it is a valuable skill that can change the trajectory of your day and, in time, your life. Today is a new day, a beautiful day, with new possibilities and opportunities coming your way. Yesterday is in the past, so you can let go of that now. Let go of anything from the past that weighs you down. You don't need it anymore. Each day is a chance to start anew. So start today with a fresh mind and a light heart. You have the power to shape your day in any way you desire. All it takes is intention in every little choice you make. So, use today to create a brighter future for yourself. I'll be sharing some positive affirmations for your day, so feel free to repeat along with me in your mind. I am worthy. I am enough. I love myself. I trust myself.
I trust myself.
I am worthy. I am enough.
I believe in myself, and I'm fully confident in myself. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Everything is happening for my greatest good.
Everything is happening for my greatest good.
I am powerful. I am protected. I am guided. I am strong. I am brave.
I am strong.
I am resilient.
I am brave. I am resilient.
I choose love over
I choose
fear.
love over fear.
I am fully deserving of success
I am
and
fully
love.
deserving of success and love.
My life is abundant and full
My
of
life
joy.
is abundant and full of joy.
I am an artist of life. I have the power to create my dream
I am an
life.
artist of life. I have the power to create my dream life.
Now take 3 final breaths with an open mouth exhale. You are now ready to begin your day as your highest self. Blink open your eyes and see the world around you with a fresh perspective. Have a beautiful day, sending you so much love. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing that. What a beautiful way to start our day. To me, prayer is meditation. That's how you connect to God, your higher self, the authority, the inner authority, the ultimate authority of the universe is meditation. So to me, that was a prayer that got us kicked off in the right spot. And thank you also, Katie, for sharing Psalm 91 to help clear the air and to just get us in a proper attitude so that we can set the right intention. We've talked a lot about intention. And yesterday, as you all know, was the 1111 portal. I think I felt a significant amount of energy coming through that open door. I don't know if any of you felt it or noticed it, but holy wow, it was the whole day. I even felt a lot of energy coming through, a lot of downloads coming through the before the 1111 portal. And I'm still feeling a lot of that coming through. I feel like for me personally, yesterday was a day of intention. It was a day of setting intentions and aligning with my higher self for the highest good, not just for me, but for the people that I will touch in my lifetime and impact wherever I go. You guys all know this. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, but wherever you walk, wherever you go in this lifetime, you leave trails of energy, an energetic imprint that can either heal or hurt others that that maybe are being influenced by that frequency or that energy that you leave behind. And so my intention yesterday was to be a bright light of healing and hope and rejuvenation for people who stand in my presence. That's what I want. I want to be the expression of wisdom and light. I want to walk in the highest light with those who walk in the highest light. I want to create community and a space for people like all of you on here and myself to come. I'm not looking for a following. I'm not looking for not looking to monetize anything here. I'm looking to create a place where like-minded beings who want to walk in the highest levels of light can come and support each other, communicate with each other, and share gifts. I know that every single one, I'm looking at your faces right now, every single one of you on here has profound spiritual, mental, emotional, just gifts because you are you. Gifts that you bring to this space that no one else can bring. And if you're not here, there's a void. Right now, I'm in a place in my life where I have major decisions to make. I feel that so many of you are kind of in this same kind of energy where you're standing on this precipice and out in front of you is the abyss. And you have to choose. You have to choose how to step out, what that's going to look like. And oftentimes it's not given to us what it will look like. You have to step out into the dark. And so I'm kind of in that place for me personally. I'm in that place. And as I prayed and meditated yesterday, what I received was step out of your comfort zone, which I've had to do a lot over the last 4 or 5 years to step out of your comfort zone, take a leap of faith, and to trust the process and the unfolding of your life. So I feel like that is my message for today. That's what I bring to the table. But I want to open up a discussion today. I was talking to Michael over the phone. We jumped on a call yesterday just to catch up and say, hey, how's it going? What's happening in your world? And I said, I have no idea what we're going to talk about in the class on Tuesday, but I know it's going to be amazing. And he's like, how about just do an open mic? So with that being said, I'm going to just open the mics and give you guys an opportunity to share whatever you feel impressed to share. What is Spirit teaching you? What is life teaching you? What patterns are you noticing? And how can we support one another? Those are a lot of questions, but let's just open this up. Who wants to get us kicked off and started? You can either open with a question, a comment, what God's teaching you, whatever you feel prompted to share. Take it away. And if there's dead space, that's fine. I'll sit in it for a little bit.
Was there, no pun intended, open mic?
Yes, Michael is very open-minded,
No.
open-hearted.
So since I unmuted myself, obviously humor is so important. And I find myself, there's so much that has happened in this last year, I know for everyone, including myself. And humor has helped me, singing has helped me, dancing has helped me. And so sometimes when things get to that point where you feel like you don't have any control over it, you can't change it, that's what I do. I just listen to comedy stations, I sing, I dance, and then all of a sudden I find I've transformed myself into this new vibration, this new frequency. But most importantly, I feel like this unfoldment, that's the key word that's coming up lately. Trust, allow that, your path is it's already there. It's already happened. You just have to put one foot in front of the other. So if I had to choose one word today, it would be unfolding.
Oh, that word keeps coming to me too. So
Yeah.
much. And it's a beautiful word, the
It is.
unfolding. And the other word that comes to me a lot is allow.
Mm-hmm.
Allow the unfolding of your life.
Yeah.
And those changes to just take place the way that the universe has in store for you without getting in the way or without getting in the mix or without trying to control. There's power in that.
So I have a question for you, Janet, because we both talked about unfolding and allowing, and which is where I'm at also. But it takes trust, right? Yeah. And so maybe someone can talk about that. What does that mean? To trust? Is it trusting you, trusting in the universe, just whatever that means? Because that keeps coming up for me a lot. Just trust.
Yeah, you know what? I think that comes up for a lot of people because I keep hearing that word a lot, that trust the process, trusting in people, trusting in yourself, trusting in your abilities, trusting in God. And there's a myriad of ways that we can look at trust. But yeah, if anybody has anything to share or any light to shed on just the process of trust, what comes to your mind as you consider that? Anybody?
So trust has many different levels to it. Are we trusting our innate wisdom? Are we trusting moment by moment for life and the experiences that we're experiencing to step into action? So one of my trust experiences was when we moved about 7 years ago. The cell of the house almost fell through, but it went through the last 2 hours, so we were just trusting that it would be okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's scary.
And then we had 5 days to move, and that was a lot in 5 days. And just trusting to know that we could have the strength to do it, and the wisdom to follow through with it.
I thank you, Carla, for sharing that. I do think that trust requires that we live from the present moment now, and to be in the present, to be in the now, and take it 1 minute at a time, one step at a time, and just trust the unfolding of each event as it plays out. And on top of that, listening to what intuition says, what needs to happen in this moment right now. And if you
Yeah.
listen to that intuition, that is your internal navigational compass. It's directing you from 1 mile to the next, one step to the next. So yeah, I appreciate that. Stacy, did you have something?
Yeah, I think for me, overall, my whole lifetime, I would say trust is not the easiest thing to do. But I think in the last year or two or five or whatever, it's been much easier if I'm having a relationship with God, if I'm in communication, if I'm taking time to just allow messages to come. So, I think in the last month, I'm staying in Salt Lake. I had to take a trip to LA. Was in LA for several days. And then I thought on Halloween, I'm like, I'm done being here. I don't want to go back to Utah yet. Where should I go? And Spirit's like, contact your friend in Oregon. You needed to visit him. He said yes. And I drove. I started driving within like 2 minutes. And then when I got there a couple days later, he said, how long are you going to stay with me? I said, like 1 or 2 days, just come to say hi. And he said, you have to stay for 7. And now I'm moving there to be with him and be a live-in companion because he's 83. So, and his wife passed away 3 years ago and he's been miserable. And I've had a feeling for years to go visit him. Like I had a choice. I made a choice a couple of years ago to go to Missouri when I felt I should go there and visit his wife. And while I was on that trip, she passed away. And so this has just been really amazing because like I'm not driven from California, from LA all the way up to Oregon. So that was like new to feel the differences in all the different parts of California. But like the excitement of going to a place, I don't know what I'm going to do there or how long I'm going to stay there, but there was this happy excitement. And then when I left, I was beaming. I was like smiling. And I'm like, I'm not happy because I'm leaving you. I'm happy because I'm going to Utah. I'm packing my stuff and I'm coming back. And so talk about trust. Because I literally, when I was leaving Salt Lake to go to LA, I'm like, I'm done being here. I don't want to be here anymore. Where should I go next? And I even was like texting you and having conversations with you during that going, well, what should I do? What am I doing next? What am I doing? Well, this is what I'm doing next. So talk about trust.
Yeah. Wow. That's profound. I feel like you and I, man, I've had conversations with so many of you guys on here, but I feel like you and I are kind of in a similar space in our lives. I'm kind of standing on this precipice of what is the next right step for me right now? And I don't know what that is yet, but I do know what the next right step today is. And when tomorrow comes, I'll know the next right step tomorrow because I'll be in that present moment, allowing things to just unfold as they do. That doesn't mean that we don't plan, doesn't mean that we don't prepare, doesn't mean that we don't make plans and execute plans ever, because sometimes what's right in the moment right now is to make a plan for something. But it does mean that being present is the ultimate in allowing trust and allowing your life to play out. Gosh, thank you for the insights. Katie, do you have something?
Yeah, it's something just in operating in that trust, I've found that it is really, for me, it is fostering the personal relationship that I have with spirit, because operating from the eyes of our heart and aligned to that is the only way that I can continue to develop that trust that he's guiding me and that we're listening correctly. Because if I keep my eyes out here in the world or in distraction, then I get misguided. And so keeping my eyes focused and fostering that personal relationship and in the stillness has been so vitally important for me to gain that trust that we're being guided. It's already been done. We're just weeding through and getting through to level up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, that makes perfect sense. And it's funny because for me, in my experience, I've noticed that the way I operate is that if I put my attention out into the world, into the space around me, it's chaos. It's nothing but chaos. And then it puts me into anxiety and fear and worry and panic attacks and all of that stuff. And so every single time that I have ever set the intention to just go within and come from that space deep inside my own soul, there's stillness in there. There's peace in there. There's love in there. There's healing in there. There's answers in there. There's resolution. Like I will walk into a room and feel as if I am the strongest state in this room right now because I'm within. And there's no threat. There's no insecurity or instability. It's all that stuff goes away when you learn to tap in to you. That's where all the answers are. That's where all the healing is. And on top of that, like you said, developing that relationship, many of us on here have a relationship with Christ. And so we feel that because he is the ultimate leader, when you step into his presence and step into his arms and step into that relationship, it's the same thing. I've never stepped into his presence or into his arms figuratively, literally, without feeling tremendous amounts of hope and peace and power and empowerment and truth and trust and answers and healing. Like, just the list goes on and on. But when I step away from those things and go up into my head and I get sucked into the outer external world, I'm a mess. I'm a mess.
I believe that is why it's so important too. And I would love to speak to this at some point. We don't have to do it today or right now, but in protecting that peace, what that looks like by putting on our full armor of God, and how we do that. How do we protect our energy centers, and how do we walk through the resistance as we level up and what we're up against coming up. Those are just some little things that I would like to share at some point.
Would you be willing to share that right now? Like, how do you protect your energy as you walk through the mucky muck of all the chaos and the distraction that's out there?
Or is everybody interested in, is that something that we want to go over? Because I love it.
I'm getting a yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. We're nodding. So yes.
Oh, awesome. So I consider the Bible, a friend of mine told me that the Bible stands for the basic instructions before leaving Earth. And that resonated with me so much because it's a spiritual book that literally gives us the instructions on how to make it as a spirit being living in these earth suits and making it through the muckety muck. Right. And in Ephesians 6, he gives us the instructions on how to put on the full armor of God, which is essentially aligning and attuning to the frequency of authenticity within us, to be able to be aligned to your truest authentic self, and then protecting that peace, protecting those fruits, protecting the love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, and self-control that is already within us. Yes. And so in order to protect it, he says to put on the full armor. And so the full armor looks like, I think I sang it for those that were on it not too long ago. I sang a little song because I think it's important to armor up our kids and teach them too how to put their full armor on. And so I made up a little song to do that with. And but I'm going to read it from Ephesians 6. Let me find it. Anyways, as I'm finding it, I'm just going to go through it real fast. And because we protect our core, our energy centers, our core, our power center with a belt of truth. And we protect our heart. Here we go. With our breastplate of righteousness. But here, I'm going to read it from Ephesians 6:11. We put on the God's complete set of armor provided for us, so that we will be protected as you fight against the evil strategies of the accuser. Your hand-to-hand combat is not with human beings, but it's with the highest principalities and authorities operating in rebellion under the heavenly realms. For they are a powerful class of demon gods and evil spirits that hold this dark world in bondage. Because of this, you must wear all the armor that God provides so that you're protected as you confront the slanderer. For you are destined for all things and will rise victoriously. And we will rise victoriously. So we put on our truth as a belt to strengthen you as you stand in triumph. You put on holiness as a protective armor that covers your heart, or the breastplate of righteousness. You stand on your feet alert, and then you'll always be ready to share the blessings of peace. And they say you shod your feet with the gospel shoes of peace, prepared to spread the gospel. In every battle, you take faith as your wraparound shield, for it is able to extinguish the blazing arrows coming at you from the evil one. And I want to speak to that real fast, because a lot of times the fiery darts of the enemy in this wavelength form are not necessarily meant to kill you. That's not going to happen. Death's defeated. But it is caused to come to create distraction around you. You have these flaming arrows creating distractions, all to get your eyes focused over here into the distraction, in the chaos. And so everybody still with me?
Yes. What I'm hearing from you is that this is a methodology for protecting your inner authority.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
The authority that's already been given to us.
Yeah.
And if we choose to say yes and we align ourselves to that truth, then we got to protect it.
Yes. Because nobody else will. Right. And here's the thing. We talked about this last time about live and let live. So your path, your journey, your truth, even the way that you unfold in this lifetime might look way different than the way that I'm designed, or the way that I play out, right, in my life. And so we have to honor our own authenticity, like you said, but also be willing to honor other people's paths, even if it doesn't look like our own.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because we can't all be arms and feet and toes, and we're a body that comes together, and everybody's individual personal journey makes up a beautiful story of, everybody has to live their own life, their own journey. But we can all use the same kind of tools to get through it.
Yes.
Okay, so we embrace the power of salvation's full deliverance like a helmet to protect your thought from the lies. That's the helmet of salvation. And you take up the mighty razor sharp spirit sword as the spoken word of God. That's the sword of the spirit. It's the double-edged sword that cuts between the flesh and the spirit. It cuts between the energetic low frequency lies, all of that. The word of God is so powerful. So it says, pray passionately in the spirit as you constantly intercede with every form of prayer at all times. Pray the blessings of God upon us believers, and pray also that God's revelation would be released through me every time I preach the wonderful mystery of the hope-filled gospel. I'm going to keep going just because it's our favorite line at the end, or one of our lines. Yes, pray that I may preach the wonderful news of God's kingdom with a bold freedom at every opportunity, even though I'm chained as a prisoner. I am his ambassador.
Oh, say that last part again.
Truth, the breastplate.
Even
I
though
know it's the good one.
It cut out. So
even though I'm chained as a prisoner. Even though I'm chained as a prisoner, I am his ambassador.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So our belt of truth, our breastplate of righteousness, our helmet of salvation, our sword of the word, our shield of faith, and our gospel shoes of peace. And it really protects the good fruits, the fruits within. It protects who we are, our authentic, beloved identity.
What does it look like to walk in the gospel shoes of peace? For you, what does that look like? How do you intentionally walk in peace, even though the whole world right now is kind of in a place of, it's just a mess, right? So how do you, in spite of everything that's going on around you, when things are collapsing and crumbling and falling and there's fear and anxiety everywhere, how do you walk in the gospel shoes of peace?
Me personally, like I've had to learn to take care of my spiritual health, how important that is to what the word says, to be still. And it looks completely opposite of what you think you need to do to get things done and to make things right and to fix. But there's so much more that can be done in the spirit by being still and charging the angels around us, because we are in we get to pray and go through Jesus and get to the Father. He is the way, and he's the command. Jesus is the commander of the angels. So if we are speaking out and using our words and coming into alignment and praying, then he does the rest of the work. Yeah. And that's where the trust comes in. That's where the faith comes in. Actually seeing that come into fruition when your prayers are answered and you get to see that, then that build, oh, look at God work. Man, he's working faster and faster and faster. That's building your faith. And that, and it's really just fostering that personal relationship that you have with Jesus, for me, Jesus, fostering that you're co-creating your reality with the creator of the universe, and you get to do that in your secret place.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time in my secret place.
Yeah, I do too. I spend a lot of time in holy time. I was reading somewhere yesterday too that that it's recommended, if you really want to develop as a spiritual being, to have a daily spiritual practice. And the longer, like I know people that spend 4 hours a day, 2 in the morning and 2 at night in their holy time. Not everyone can do that, but if you're willing to make the sacrifice in your life to develop yourself as a spiritual being, because that's really what you are, the benefits really outweigh the risk or the investment in your time. Can we talk a little bit? I want to shift gears, because we were talking about the desire to walk in the highest light of God, the desire to be protected from all the gunk and the mess that's going on in this world, to have a sanctuary inside of our souls. I want to talk a little bit about what has that path looked like for each of you. I've said many times to people, if you want to have a very personal, intimate relationship with your own soul and your own authenticity, but also with God, and you want to be led by those two navigational authorities inside of you, buckle up. Buckle up, because what will happen is those two things, you're all laughing. You guys have stories to share, I know. What will happen is that those two points of navigation, or just the authenticity of being true to yourself and being true to the God who guides you and leads you, will pull you out of paradigms and out of conditioning, and pull you away from the things that have been in your life that are programming, conditioning, toxic, and not for you. And oftentimes we get ripped away from religious culture. We lose friends. We lose family members. We lose contact with people. We are asked to step away from certain things that we've known our whole lives. And so then it feels very unfamiliar and unsafe. It's a risk. It's a huge risk, because if you truly want authenticity and you truly want to know the God path that's in front of you, you're going to be asked to take a leap of faith. You're going to be asked to let go of things that you've been clinging to that feel safe and that feel familiar and that feel, just the safety and stability and security that comes through this cultural programming and religious programming and all the systems that are here to program you into buying into their system. You're probably going to be invited to let go of so much of that stuff if it was given to you through conditioning and programming. And so, that's been my path. I have been asked or invited to let go of more things than I ever dreamed that I would ever be called upon to let go of. And the fruits are spiritual sovereignty, confidence, clarity, courage to live your life. If you want those things, if you want to live your best life, it's risky, yes. You're going to be asked to do things like, for me, in my life, stepping out of the cultural and religious box of what family is supposed to look like and religion is supposed to look like and my life, daily life, and what I'm supposed to wear, what I'm supposed to eat, all those things. Like, walking away from those things was absolutely terrifying, because I thought, because of the programming, that I was losing my eternal salvation as a soul. That's scary. And I didn't necessarily walk away from those things. I was kind of pushed out of those things. And I look back on it and now I think, what a blessed miracle that sacrifice and suffering was perceived. It was perceived suffering until I was willing to let go. Now I'm in a place of confidence and clarity, and there may not be absolute certainty, but there is clarity and there is confidence. I know that I can follow the guidance of my soul every day. So, anybody have anything to add on to that?
I'd like to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Probably about 2 years ago, I was going somewhere on a regular basis, and I was instructed, like I would pray and say, well, what should I do today while I'm here? And I got the message back saying, have Jesus Christ stand right next to you all day long, which was me asking him to be there and me rechecking in every 10, 15 minutes to see if I was still inviting him to be next to me. And that went on for a year. And then the next thing I heard was, shine his light through you. And I can tell you that was really tiring the first couple times I did that. But what I found was, wow, you talk about power and adding to that armor of God, have God just shining his light through you, then you're doing it's a lot to do. But as I stepped away from going to that one place, I keep being reminded, like, we taught you that. I taught you that. Would you try it today? Do it again today. And just reminded of that. That's really an important thing. It was a tool that was given to me to help me do this life. And I think the other thing is really just facing my fears, which, nobody wants to face their fears.
No, I don't.
No, nobody wants to face their fears. The first time I'm like, okay, two friends kind of came up with that at the same time on 2 different phone calls. And I'm like, okay. And as I started to do that, then I started having panic attacks. And then I knew that what I needed to do is not crumble under the panic attack, but be in charge of it as it was happening and be present with what I was feeling. not listen to it, just be present with what I was feeling. And so there's a lot of things that I unwound doing that. So
Yeah.
those are a couple things that have helped me recently.
That's profound advice. Isn't it interesting that we keep coming back to, when you're faced with your greatest fears, which we're all going to be, that's how we ascend, is to have to overcome that stuff. But being present is usually one of the most powerful tools that we have in our toolkit. And all it takes is just going within and being in the moment. I see that Karen has a comment, and then we'll go right to the comments section because there's a couple things coming up there too. So go ahead, Karen.
Well, I find, first of all, I want to tell Katie, I just love the way you pray. And I used to feel confident in praying, and lately I haven't. And that's why I never volunteer, because in the Mormon church, it's really different. It's like, I felt like we were always begging. And now I'm learning that we have authority in another way to speak in another way. And I don't know how to do that. I mean, it's so unnatural for me. It's like, is this okay? I'm finding I'm having to relearn what I thought I knew. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Katie, go ahead.
That's why I don't volunteer. It's not that, it's just, I just feel like I just don't know how anymore. I thought I knew how.
We just have to get deprogrammed out of the lies of what we thought. And then, me too. And I love to pray now. And y'all noticed in my class, or in this class, that it's as my faith grows, as I continue to grow, as I keep getting, at first I was scared to pray. I feel like every level, every time we advance, grace to grace, mercy to mercy, that we have to defeat the resistance and whatever that may look like. And that's the demon coming against I look at things spiritually from that side, and demonology and spiritual warfare. That's just what the Lord has put on for me. And so at each level we have to defeat that demon. And usually it looks like fear. And so I come in on here, and I'm sitting here shaking, just saying, Lord, please let me get the words out. And so I'm right there with you, Karen. Just keep doing it. Just keep speaking out. And we're going to pray that you get that bold confidence too.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. I had to do a lot of unraveling of just religious culture, the programming of how culture teaches you to pray and how everyone kind of does it the same. And then when you come out of that and you step away from that, then you're left with, well, I don't even know how to communicate with my own God now. Like I don't. And so it is a process of starting over, starting fresh, but you can have conversation. Anybody can have a conversation with the divine. Anybody
I think
can.
that goes back to that personal relationship too. The more I seek him personally, and you knock and the doors are open and you seek, he's so faithful. And it becomes, that's how I pray. I pray like we're like Jesus is hanging out with me in my car, and we're driving, and I'm talking to him in the passenger seat. And so that's the way I pray. So
yeah, I that's beautiful. Thank you for that example. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to Brecca, and then I'm gonna read Alicia's comment in the comments.
Thank you, Karen. I so resonate with your thoughts there too. And as we've been talking this morning, something I've been thinking about, I mentioned this a few weeks ago in a class with you guys, but kind of getting back to the basics, I guess, like, as I started to expand my mind spiritually from, the box that I grew up in, I wanted to try it all, and I wanted to go and experience all the things. And I thought I wanted to have this like jaw-dropping experience that was, just for me. And I wanted to, I don't know, I hope that makes sense, but I just I wanted to experience something so big for me. And and the more that I've gone along and learned, my whole life has been that. Like my entire existence, I've been gaining and growing and learning from him. And so, you know, for me, it wasn't a matter of learning new methods. It was a matter of figuring out that I already knew a method. It was a matter of figuring out that I was already communicating with the divine. I was doing it my way. I wasn't doing it the way that I was learning in all these other spiritual avenues, which I don't think that there's a right and a wrong. I think we all have our ways of learning. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we come back to trust, right? We've just got to trust when we receive that information that is our miracle. That is our divine connection. And to take that information that comes and trust it and just know that, you know, he doesn't talk to me like that. Like, I think that would be really cool. And I would love to experience that. But how he talks to me is like this. And that's how we've done it my whole life. So rather than changing it up or finding a new or better way, I just need to trust in the way that he's communicated with me my whole life and build upon those foundations. Yeah. So that's kind of been my journey in the last several months. And there's a lot of changes. I think we're all feeling it, you know, as Janet was just talking about tomorrow. I can't worry about tomorrow. I can only worry about today. That's literally where I'm at. I just feel like everything is so big and I need to know like my plan. I need to have it laid out for the next 5 years. So what does it look like? And holding on to all of those earthly things like retirement. And I need to make sure that I have money to sustain myself through these times. And what I keep getting urged to do, and it's so difficult, is to just let go. Just let go. Let go of all of it. Just put it all out on the altar, walk away and say, he's got me. And I know that that's what I need to do, but knowing that that's what I need to do and silencing my brain long enough to do it, because it's not like a one-day thing. It's not like in a moment I say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, because there's days that I'm ready. I'm done. Like, let's do this. And then, you know, during the process of doing, you kind of pull back again and you're like, but, you know, if I just could do this, then that would just offer me a little bit of safety. That would be a safety net in case, you know, I needed something to fall back on. And I know it's so frustrating for him. I know he's like, I am your safety net. Right. Just let it go.
Right. Because then he's going to ask you, give me your safety and security and let me be that for you.
Yes. And that's, so I mean, you know, and that's literally where I'm at in my life. And I'm feeling like, you know, as I talk to people and I hear from others, I think we're all feeling a sense of that let go. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but that doesn't mean that it's not worth it. That doesn't mean that there's something greater and better to come. And as my mind expands, I'm like, you know, these are old ideas of, you know, needing to have a retirement or needing the safety and security of a house that I have to go to work 80 hours a week for, you know.
That's so, the 3D world. That's the telestial world. And that world is passing away.
Yes.
So if we're clinging to the world that's passing away, what is that going to do to you? You're going to get your ass kicked big time. If you want to cling to what's passing away. So that's why we're all being called upon to let go, let go, let go, because the old world is dying and the new world is being birthed. And so the only way to step into what's being birthed is to just let go and allow the baby to be born. Let it unfold, and without clinging or attaching or, you know, pining for the old life. The old ways are dying, and it's for a purpose, because we're all up leveling, and it's okay. I appreciate you sharing that.
I do have full trust that once I do let go, once I can talk myself into just allowing that unfolding to happen, I know that the blessing is going to be so far beyond my measure of comprehension as I see it now. Like, I know that. So why is it so hard then to let go? Just, I mean, so I'm just trying to resonate a little bit with Karen. I get it. Like, it's hard, and it's, we move away from things, or maybe we expand on things and our mind gets too big that we maybe feel lost. And it's just simpler to come back to what we know and how we've connected our whole lives and just build there with
and that's
love.
okay. Like, even if we do kind of fall back into old programming or old ways for a time, just so that we can get our footing or our bearing, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Whatever you have to do to move in a forward direction, there should be no judgment or guilt or shame in any of it. Like you said, we just have to trust and go one day at a time. Thank you for sharing that. You guys are so awesome. I appreciate you being willing to be vulnerable and put yourself out there in this way so that we can offer support to each and every one of them, myself included, is receiving so much edification and support and validation. Stepping out on a spiritually sovereign path can feel so lonely. And so to have people say, "Oh, I get you. I understand that. I'm with you. I see you. I hear you. I'm here for you." It's huge. So let's go over. We're going to just change the topic a little bit. Alicia says, number 1, sex is holy, right? But in order to, for it to feel really good, it seems like it needs to feel slightly naughty. Does that make sense? Yes, actually, that does make sense, because that's religious programming coming out. A really good orgasm for me usually feels dark, naughty, lusty, carnal, full of desire. But aren't those low vibrational energies? So I'm confused about it. Now that me and my husband are rethinking our religious culture, we're opening up sexually to things that seemed wrong before, but now I don't know how to trust myself when the feeling of sex feels dark, not bad, just naughty. I don't know. It doesn't feel like light, except that it's about love for my husband. Yeah, you know what? That's going to just take a lot of unraveling of religious programming. And what I highly recommend is go study sexual practices, spiritual practices like Tantra, or like in some of the mystical, even Chinese culture, the way that they talk about sex and sexuality. It's not dark at all. It was designed for our bodies to up-level. It's, in fact, there are many cultures in the world that believe that the fullness of the expression of your sexuality between you and your partner or your lover that's ascension. That's what those highest vibrational frequencies you talked about, orgasm being naughty or wrong. I don't know where that programming comes from, but it is pretty prevalent in religious culture, and it's very difficult to unravel that and change your mind about some of those things, because sexuality is our birthright. It's how we express the highest levels of love. I know there's a lot of people who have many things to say on this, and I would love to hear your feedback on it, but that's how I feel about it, is that it is a tool for us to step into the higher dimensions and higher frequencies and higher levels of love and communion and connection, and stepping into the presence of God through your sexuality, through orgasm, through all of those things. So yeah.
Can I say something quickly?
Yeah, thanks for opening this discussion, because I have wanted to talk about this for a long, long time. But thanks for opening this up. Go ahead, Anne.
Yeah, no, all I was going to say is we need to spend one whole program time really discussing that, because I know so many people that are, that perception about sexuality and sex and all of that feels very dark and evil sometimes, right? So it really is all about perception. And it's like you said, from our religious background, even myself included, There was so much dogma and so much negative energy around it.
Shame.
But I've come to believe that it is one of the most beautiful ways that human beings can express themselves, with each other. So anyway, that's for another time.
Yeah, it is. I think we could have a whole 2-hour discussion on that, and we have done that in the past before. But it is unfortunate that our sexuality is, because sexuality to me is spirituality. They're not disconnected. It is very spiritual, and that often in religious dogma and culture, it's so riddled in shame and bondage, and it is dark in religious culture. That's what they teach you, is that it's wrong and it's dark. She says, if you don't want to talk about sex, my other question right now is about meds, mental health. Oh, wait, before we go on to this other topic, is there anybody else who had something to add to that?
I do.
Yes.
I think one of the reasons why sex turned dark is there's this Madonna whore complex. Like, you're supposed to be this Madonna type figure, but sex is connected with being a whore. And so you have to kind of work through, what is that all about? And as I started looking at that myself, I started to see throughout time, when a woman has an amazing orgasm, she actually can ascend and talk with God much better. And so you think, well, if you're going to try to make a woman less powerful, you're going to tell her it's not okay. And I think it's definitely brought in through religions that, it starts with Eve. Eve was evil. Was she? Was she really evil? I don't think so. But, so it's a deep process, and you need to get to know yourself, and you need to get to know how you can have different kinds of orgasms. I've learned so much through having incredible orgasms, and then what happens after, like how the portal opens up and the conversation and truth. And I got to see how God has me in his hand all the time. And so love between two people is supposed to bring you into a higher realm. And, at least in the church I was raised in, that wasn't something that anybody talked about. They just said, that's between a husband and a wife, right? Like, we're not going to get into that. Instead of like, how do you actually use your power to excel and grow and expand? And when a woman is actually in her most divine self, the masculine will serve her. And so if you're going to get men to serve women, let's shut that down, so women don't have that ability and don't even know how to be really feminine. I mean, and so there's a lot of really unwinding. And the other part I wanted to say is that we as women hold all of our issues inside our reproductive organs, the whole thing. Just like every time you have a hard thing, all of a sudden it's there, it's planted right in there to work on and get rid of. So that's what I wanted to add to that.
Thank you, Stacy. You know what? You and I have talked about this before, about actually doing a few classes on sexuality, specifically for women. And I think that we should. I think there's enough interest in this topic, and I think there's enough necessity in this topic to just kind of clear the air on how we've been conditioned and programmed, and how shame and guilt has been wrapped around this topic for so long that we should open it up. We should definitely open it up. I know, Anne, you have a lot of wisdom that you could share along those lines as well. But yeah, I think that we should do a class on it. I'm going to go with Michael, then Karen, then Charisse. Go in that order. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, we're almost out of time, but I definitely think,
just keep going.
I definitely think that we should have a day where we talk about sex and all that. And I've got a lot of input on that topic. And then also on the topic of meds, like, we could easily have a whole conversation about medication and the spiritual aspect of medications. And, that's, for those that don't know, like, that's a lot of what I don't go to college. I think college is bullcrap. I do a lot of self-learning. And I've done a lot of learning on medications. And I don't think medications are necessarily bad, but I do think they're a Band-Aid. And it's okay to put a Band-Aid on a wound so that it can heal for a little bit. But and so that's another thing that I'm grateful that you brought up both of those topics.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that we don't have enough time to even hit on those topics. And I just want to say, because I'm going to have to go, that for the fact that this class was not prepared or anything, this has been one of the most amazing classes. And I would, there's a lot. I wanted to share some stuff that's gone on, but I just sat back and listened. And one thing, I just want to touch on a couple things that people said. Karen, about praying. I get you. I feel you. And I posted that prayer in the chat, and it's been something that, yes, it's an AA prayer. It's the 3rd step prayer. And, I just say that prayer every day. And I challenge you to just get out of the box and try something different. And that, I would love to hear, if you were to say that prayer every day for the next 7 days, to hear what your response is next Tuesday, and just how you feel.
Oh, wait. I tried to click on that where you saved it. Never mind. Go ahead.
But, I can text it to you too. I think I've got your number. But anyway, and so it's just really like, I get it. A lot of us come from the same background, and honestly, I've been thinking connection is the cure. Yes. And what is created here is connection. All of us are connecting. And, right now there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 people, 15 people with myself included. That's 15 weeks of classes. Each one of us goes through and just shares our story. And being our, I don't know if it worked. I posted a link in there. There's a podcast that I listened to yesterday about stepping into your authentic self and stuff. And there's something about sharing your story to where I guarantee you 99.9% of us have a lot of things in common. It doesn't matter what part of the world we grew up in, what religion we grew up in, how many siblings we had. There's a lot of things that have transpired through our lives that have brought us into this space today. And, so there's that. And then also, one of the big things that I say is trust God, clean house, and serve others. And I didn't realize what clean house meant until like a month ago. And I've been hearing that comment for a long time. And it's doing the work, staying in the present. There's somebody that said yesterday's a mystery, or yesterday's history. Tomorrow's a mystery, so make today the greatest day of your life. And as we all do that, then, that's where we ascend to our higher selves, because we're no longer living in fear and anxiety. But I just love you all, and I can't wait to have this sex conversation.
I just love you. I love you so much. Your wisdom, the wisdom that you have to share because of your life experiences, is so powerful and so poignant and so amazing. We have 12 messages that I still haven't read in the comments yet, but I want to go to Karen, give you an opportunity to share what you felt you needed to share, and then we'll go to Charisse.
Actually, I meant to put my hand down.
Oh, okay. That's okay. On to Sharice. Go ahead and share.
Sorry. I thought, well, now that you call me, I'm having a decision to make pretty soon whether to have another surgery or not, or maybe don't have any choice, or maybe I do. I don't know. I told you about that before, about the lagging organs. We don't want to go into graphic detail, but it's a problem. And I got a doctor appointment tomorrow, but I really want to go as natural as possible. And I really want to avoid surgery, but I don't know. So
yes, you do. You know. You know, your inner self knows, God knows, your inner authority knows, and you can go in there and get that answer. That answer is inside of you.
What kind of surgery?
It's for prolapse. It's gotten really, really, really severe. A prolapse, bladder prolapse.
Oh, you can fix that with a lot of exercises.
Can you really, when it gets that severe, when it's like a baby?
You could go study pelvic floor exercises. They're all over on the internet. And you can also find pelvic floor facilitators, people who do pelvic floor work externally with you and on you, to practitioners. A lot of chiropractors are learning the art of pelvic floor healing. So yeah, maybe go.
It's a physical therapist who's trained in pelvic floor work. It's not just most anyone.
Yeah.
It's a PT. Sorry, Janet.
Yeah, no. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Surgery pulls you down. I'm just recovering from last year's surgery. I don't think I'm totally there yet. And then here I got, and it feels negative to go in that direction. Another part of me says, you can get off work for 6 weeks. I'll think, well, that's disgusting. Yeah, you hate that job so much that you're willing to go through the night to get off for 6 weeks.
Well, I hear you. Thank you. If any of you have additional advice or comments or things to share with Karen, you can drop those into the comments. We're going to go to Sharice.
Thank you.
And then we'll go back to the comments and see what's there.
So has anyone, well, I don't know anyone has, but I listened to Reverend Michael Beckwith and I just love him. Mm-hmm. And one of the ones that I listened to, he was talking about the power of prayer, and he had this class of people that he was talking about, teaching them more spiritual practices. And this one lady, she said, I need to go and have surgery on my kidneys. And she's like, I need the date bumped up because it would be more convenient for me if it was sooner than later. And he's like, well, how about we just pray that you receive a miracle and your kidneys and your bladder is fixed by the Lord. And she's like, I just want the date moved up. So he said, how about we all pray, everyone in the class, every time you go pee, just pray for this lady. We'll call it our pee prayer and we'll witness the miracle. So I'm just putting it out there. Karen, do you want us to have pee prayers for you?
Hey, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Honestly, in my heart, I don't feel like this surgery would be wise, but I've got to do something. I don't want to end up wearing a diaper or something awful, and it doesn't kill you, but it could debilitating. It could be very debilitating.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would be willing to pray for you every day as I pee, that your body would receive a healing in whatever way or shape or form that you're needing.
Who am I who are you? I don't know you very well. Grace?
It says Grace Kelly, but her name is Sharice.
My name is Sharice. I'll unmute myself. I'm renovating and I don't look very pretty.
Sharice, hi.
You are always so pretty.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Anyways, I just there's miracles that can happen. I believe in miracles, absolutely. I've seen miracles happen, so I would love to send healing your way every day. Is that okay if we do that?
Oh my goodness. It is more than okay. Of course. Of course. Thank you.
And anyone else that would like to join in?
Absolutely.
We'll do the prayer.
I'll do the P prayer every day.
I'll just talk. I need to go now.
Yeah. We're not going to have time to do an actual healing experience on this class because we're already past time. But thanks for offering that up, and thank you for the insight, Charisse. I appreciate that. I think there is definitely power in exercising faith. I read in the Mentana archives how I think it's in the book of Manti where it talks about how faith is the power that moves upon the deep and causes every particle of material and matter to move into alignment with the will of God. And you have that power over every cell in your body, every molecule in your body. You are the steward of every cell and particle of material in your physical body, and you have that ability to exercise. It's not the amount of faith that you have. It's not your faithfulness. It's not about any of that. It's about just simply exercising that faith and setting that intention to will yourself into alignment with the mind and will of God. Because you are the steward over 50 trillion cells and even more molecules. And so if you have those conversations with the molecules, you exercise your faith and find ways, your intuition will guide you to the ways where healing can be found. No one else can give you that but you, your inner authority. But we can add our faith and exercise our faith in your behalf. Absolutely.
Oh my God. So much. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Because I did experience a miracle when I had that surgery last year. Maybe I could have avoided it, but I had that cancer removed. And anyway,
here's what I recommend, Karen. Psalms 91, read it every day over your body. That's a prayer. Read that prayer over your body every day.
Okay.
That's a powerful prayer. And then number 2, go read Manti chapter 4 or 5. Either one of those talks about the principle of faith in creating miracles and creating healing and creating the restoration of your body. Those whole 2 chapters are all about translation. And what is translation? It's just the recurrence of healing and rejuvenation by faith in your body over and over and over. And we have the power to do that. We're starting to learn those technologies by exercising our faith. So I believe that your body has that ability and that power. If that is what is in alignment with your highest will for you, then seek after that and stand in it. Okay, so moving on.
A little bit more.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
A little bit more. Just when we when we tap into our I am, the God within us. All of those boxes that have been created by religions, by societies, by families, regardless of what it is, even if it is about sex, that the shame and guilt, if we don't act like a good human or a good member of this family or a good member of this church, it all just fades away when you can tap into your highest self. So when you tap into your I am, boom, it disappears. The shame and guilt over having an orgasm, it disappears. Those are the boundaries that men has put upon other men and women to oppress them, because they could see our power. They could sense it. So women especially have an immense power. We might not have the physical strength of men. Some of us do, though. But we have a power within us that scares men because they don't have it. And a lot of that comes from the orgasm. And a lot of it comes from the divine feminine energy, if we are tapped into that. And how do we tap into that? Through your I am, through going into yourself, going within your body, experiencing an orgasm. those are all beautiful ways of doing it. Meditation, prayer, there's ways. Anyways, I'll be done. Sorry.
No. I mean, don't worry about being done. Please don't. Katie, what do you have to add to that? Go ahead.
To add back to Karen and just the authority that we have in our healing, I would like to add to that is just a simple Isaiah 53, by his stripes we are healed. We've already been healed. He did it at the cross for us. And if we believe it, a mustard seed of faith, if you're open to believe it, that you can be healed divinely with creative miracles, mustard seed of faith, just say, by his stripes I am healed. And then you're opening that door for all of us to pray our P prayer and send that energy, send that healing to you as a body. And I believe for it. So
Lord, too.
In Jesus' name.
Thank you. Thank you.
Profound. Thank you, Charisse. Wow. Mm-hmm. I love when you share your wisdom. All of you on here have such powerful and profound energies and wisdom and life experience to share. I wish we could go on another whole hour in this discussion, but I agree. We're going to have like a 4 or 5 part series on sacred sexuality. We've done it before, but that was like 3 or 4 years ago. I think that we should open that topic up again and come prepared to share your wisdom and your experiences and what has helped heal you in that regard. I think we touched on it lightly. And then also, I definitely do want to explore the idea or the possibility of giving each of you an opportunity to just share your story. And what we can do is just have maybe even another 4-part series or another just several part series where we just open up the mics. And if whoever wants to, there's no pressure, but if you want to share your spiritual journey or your life journey and the things that you've learned and the wisdom that God has given you and the things that you feel could touch other people's lives and benefit them, maybe you have something to share. I'm sure all of you have hours and hours and hours of things that you could share that would be impactful. I think this is really an important opportunity for us, because we call this group Great Life, Greater Impact. And because of the greatness that's coming out of our lives and the things that you're learning and the things that you're doing to up-level and upgrade and overcome and ascend, you have a lot to offer and a lot to teach and a lot to share that will impact other people's lives in a positive way. So don't be afraid to share that. And this is going to give us a lot of things to talk about moving forward. To be honest, I said to Michael the other day, I feel like I'm out of gas. Like it shouldn't be on me to run these discussions anymore, because that's how I used to do it. This is all of y'all's community. And I think that we can place intentions wherever we choose, and all of us can have a part to play in the uplifting and edifying and impacting of each other's lives equally across the board. And that's where I want to go with all of this, because then it takes the pressure off of me to come up with something. So let's do that moving forward. We'll have another open discussion next week. Not sure whether the topic will be, we'll kind of figure that out as we go. But thank you guys for being here. Is there anybody else who has anything to share before we close us out with prayer?
Janet, I had something I wanted to say. Sorry, I've said a lot, but about a month and a half ago, I was having severe vertigo and really bad vomiting from it for like 2 days, and then another 4 days of horrible still. And by the time I got to the 10th day, it was a lot less, but I was just dizzy all the time. I was losing my balance. And I just said, okay, Heavenly Father, I'm not doing this life with vertigo. Sorry, I'm not doing it. I mean, I'll do everything else, but I'm not going to be days and days and days of vertigo. And that was nice. That didn't help very much. But then the next day I said, okay, enough, we're done. And I don't know who we are, but I told me and we we're not doing vertigo anymore. And it literally stopped like that. And I went to my chiropractor who clears stuff for me. And I said, I think I got a new gift. I can tell myself what to do. Like, I don't know. But I think it was, I wasn't willing. There was no other option, but it had to stop now. And it came from the depth of my being. So whatever work I've done that I could get there, I know that everything can be changed. If it's an option for us to have it change, it will change if we really get to that space. So anyway.
That. Yeah, I believe. Thank you for that. I've done that with moles before, where you see a mole starting to come on your body, and you're like, we're not doing that, and then it goes away. So yeah, I know that we have stewardship over the intelligences of every cell in our body, and that God wants us to be the authority over this stewardship. If we can't learn stewardship over our bodies, how are we ever going to do it for kingdoms and principalities and worlds and to expand in the way that God expands? So if this is our little kingdom, is our physical body. And I do think that also encompasses what you put into your body, what you put onto your body, and the way that you take care of your body, the way that you are diligent about daily practice with your body. So stepping into that too. And that takes a lot of faith and it takes a lot of discipline, but way worth it. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being willing to share. Thank you for being willing to hold space for others, to pray for others, to exercise faith on their behalf. Karen, we're going to exercise faith on your behalf.
Thank you.
Every time I pee, I'm going to pray for you. Thank you for that recommendation. Charisse, thanks to everybody who just came today. And whether you observed and witnessed or just listened in the stillness, or whether you shared openly and vulnerably, it doesn't matter. Just thank you for being here. And I really hope that you come back next week to talk about this some more. I feel so much support from each and every one of you. I can't even tell you how grateful I am to see your faces on here every single week. So thank you for being here. And let's jump on next week. Same time, same place. And hopefully you can bring more stories to share, more experience to share, more wisdom to share, and we'll edify each other. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.
Love you all.
That was God's plan to begin with. Hold on, I gotta grab. Hi, Katie. Hi, Karen. Thanks for jumping on, you guys. We're gonna start in just a few minutes, but we can chit chat for a little bit. We should probably chit chat about what y'all want to talk about, because I am not prepared with a thing. I did not come.
You are too.
Okay, I'm prepared to receive downloads from the infinite in real time.
Exactly. Boom.
I just have to grab a pen. Hold on.
I need to refill my water. I'll be back.
I love your hair, Katie.
Oh yeah.
Do what?
I love your hair.
Oh, thank you.
I know this. Oh, that's kind of cool.
I'm a fantabulous. Sun shining. My soul is shining. Oh. Just a bright ray of sunshine. Until about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, it was the 11:11 portal, and there was a lot of energy coming through you. So I don't know if you felt that, but I felt it like all day.